Şimdi panelimizin değerli konuşmacılarını da takdim etmek ve sahneye davet etmek istiyorum. STM Genel Müdürü Sayın Özgür Güleryüz. Hoş geldiniz efendim.
Merhaba.
Bir sonraki konuşmacımız Kale Grubu Başkan Vekili Sayın Osman Okyay. Hoş geldiniz efendim. Ve son olarak TSKGV Genel Müdürü Sayın Bilal Topçu. Hoş geldiniz efendim. Sözü kıymetli moderatörümüze ve değerli panelistlerimize bırakıyorum. Buyurun efendim.
Çok teşekkür ederim. Mersi, sağ olun. Efendim, bütün hazırunu saygıyla selamlayarak başlamak istiyorum. Böyle güncel ve önemli bir konuya yer verdikleri için de saha yönetimini kutlamak istiyorum. Panelistlerimiz, 3 değerli panelistimiz var. Kısaca bir tanıtmak istiyorum. Hep bilinen kişiler, tanıdık kişiler ama Özgür Güleryüz biraz önce takdim ettiler. Bilkent Üniversitesi'nde yüksek lisans EMBA konularında ki akademik gelişimini tamamlamış. Mesleki deneyim olarak Nokia Mobile Phone Finlandiya'da çalışmış. Aselsan'da uzman sistem mühendisi ve proje yöneticisi, STM Savunma Teknolojileri Mühendislik ve Ticaret Anonim Şirketi'nde orada proje yöneticisi, sistem mühendisliği müdürü, kalite müdürü, mühendislik ve danışmanlık genel müdür yardımcısı, şimdi de genel müdür. Doğru söyledim.
Doğrudur, sağ olun.
Osman Bey var, Osman Okyay, Kale Grubu Başkan Vekili, Boğaziçi Üniversitesi Makine Mühendisliği mezunu, Amerika Birleşik Devletleri'nde University of New Hampshire yüksek lisansını tamamlamış. Kariyerine Digital Equipment Corporation'da mühendis, kağıtlar yapışıyor. Evet. Ve yönetici olarak başlamış. 94 yılında Kale grubuna katılmış. Kale kalıp anonim şirketi genel müdürlüğü ve Kale grubu teknik bölüm başkanlığı görevlerinin ardından halen Kale grubu başkan vekili olarak görev yapıyor. Okyay grubun savunma, havacılık, ileri teknoloji seramikleri, robotik ve yazılım gibi alanlara açılımını yönetmiş. General Electric, Pratt & Whitney, Rolls-Royce gibi şirketlerde stratejik ortakların Lockheed Martin, Boeing, Airbus gibi firmalara ait yüklenicilik yapılmasına öncülük etmiştir. İş dünyasındaki görevlerinin yanı sıra DEİK, Türkiye Brezilya İş Konseyi Başkanlığı, SASAT Yönetim Kurulu Başkanlığı, DEİK Türkiye Birleşik Krallık Yönetim Kurulu üyeliği ve Türkiye ABD İş Konseyi üyeliği gibi çeşitli kurumlarda aktif rol almaktadır. Bilal Topçu, Türk Silahlı Kuvvetleri Güçlendirme Vakfı Genel Müdürüdür. Kartal
public administration. He participated to development projects in techno parks. He is now doing his second master's degree in Istanbul University Technology Management Department. He also worked in the United States, in Buffalo, New York, Minneapolis, and Dallas. He was also regional manager. Now he came back to Turkey and He has been a manager and also finance manager in a different company. Between 2016 and 18, he has been in the Ministry of Family. And also, he participated to diverse events and meetings on Myanmar in the scope of the United Nations. Between 18 and 2023, he was at the head of Technopark company. He was the general manager. Since October 2023, he is the general manager of TSK GV. Topçu is married and he has 2 children. I read this one time, and my child told me I had to say he has 2 children and 2 little children. So I want to do an introduction. Modern war techniques started to be used. We are seeing those. All the technologies, all the weapons are not valid anymore. From our time, we had a template. We were following a template. For example, 1 defense, 3 attacks. Or when you look at the attacks, you can have 2 to 4, 4 to 6. Everything was according to a template, and when you knew the template, you knew also about the organization of your adversary. But now we don't have that. We don't know who will do what, who will strike where and when. We don't know that. We don't have templates. We have algorithms, we have data. I can't even pronounce those. This is the logic which is followed right now. From our generation, we were saying the history of wars was like the cadaver of the officers we knew by looking at war history. But now, past wars don't teach us anything. It's not like that anymore. I will stop here if you allow me. I will give you 20 minutes each if it is sufficient. If it's not sufficient, you can talk more. Thank you very much. I hope you can hear me. As a generation, we are closer to these technologies. I would like to introduce to you STM first of all, and then we will talk about the strategies in defense and development transformation. STM was founded in 1991, and the execution committee of strategy founded our company. We are doing system engineering, and also we are doing consulting. 3 days ago, we had our 35th anniversary. This is why it is a special week for us. We kept on with our consulting business in every project that were offered abroad also, and projects that started being produced here also. In the name of the state, we could evaluate those projects. And STM had, when we were consulting, STM was really at point which company is doing what in our country, what are the technical evaluations of the projects. We knew about all the ecosystem of defense. And after these works. We took a lot of responsibilities. From 1991 until the beginning of 2000s, we did only consulting. We were evaluating, assessing the projects and the technical side of the products. And we created a know-how in our country. After the year 2000, we started to work in engineering. We wanted to develop our companies. We started to have make products. In 2007, I came to this company, and we don't have any adversary in Turkey. We don't want to be an adversary to any other defense company. This is our aim. Is if there are technologies, if there are other products, STM will not do it. STM wants to follow the technologies. The technology is developing. There's a novelty each day. So we are doing the programming of earth weapons, the tanks, Aselsan products. We also have some platforms on task division. For example, we are working in programming. We have R&D projects, and STM in 2010 started to work with NATO, and we started to work with the programming of NATO, and we were at the side of project management and development of the program. And the command control was also in to us, and we are using this infrastructure still. Messaging systems between different countries are using our system, our programming. It is an integration now. Still, it is used in NATO. And now we are also programming the application of the intelligence of NATO. There was also the backhand work and also classification work, categorization work, and also the interface. We came at the end of this tender, this project, and after that we are going to continue working with NATO. In after 2010, we had this motivation of military marine maritime works and activities. We wanted to support in programming again our country, and little by little we worked with marine forces, and we were responsible of engineering. We wanted to look at the integration of different systems we were buying from other companies. First, we had some support from abroad, engineers from abroad, and then we learned things by ourselves. And we had another task. Companies who are making products in the country or at the exterior, we had to evaluate those companies, and we could push this or that company by some investments, by some engineering support. If a company is capable of doing that, we could include them in our project. So in MIGEM project, we had 25–30% of local companies, but now we attained 80% of local companies. So in marine forces, military marine, STM has played a really very important role. This is our force, we think, as STM. And as STM in Ukraine, we are sending war vessels to Indonesia. We are sending war vessels. We are modernizing some systems that are very critical, and all this shows the force and the power of our ecosystem. It is really very empowering to see what we see in this expo also. When we are around the table, we can say we can do this project with this cost at this timeline, with this timeline. So we are playing a very important role in the development of a defense ecosystem. I will come back to that point, but you can see that the ecosystem is really powerful, because when you look at the exportation of naval war vessels, a war vessel has 12-year time, 10-year time. This is a really long-term marriage with another country. So you have to follow up, you have to give the logistic support, you have to modernize, you have to give some pieces after. And as a country, we think that we made a difference in our defense industry. And when we go to other countries, it is the follow-up, it is the managing after, it is the reparations after. So we are responding in these levels. As Turkish companies, we are following up, we are supporting for the reparations, etc. So we have a better and better value internationally. So if we come back to STM, one of the activities is tactical drone systems. These tactical drone systems were used, first of all, in the southeast of our country as an emergency material for our armed forces. The armed forces asked us to see some snipers, for example. Snipers are at the top of the building, but there are civilians in this building also. So you have the drone, you send the drone, you can see who is a terrorist, who is a civilian. These systems were produced by 3 countries at that time. 2 of them didn't even give us a price. Another country gave us, sold us 3 products only. And last year, this company sold to us this product at $83,000 but last year it was $17,000. So we said to ourselves, we can do that. We can produce these drones, kamikaze drones or other drones. We can make those and we started in 2018, and we are exporting to more than 15 countries right now, in 4 continents and in different milieux, electronic milieux. But STM is an engineering company. We also follow up after the sending of the product. 15 minutes ago, we had our launching of a new product, another drone, which has a 6-hour autonomy time. In STM, we have different competencies, different skills also in maritime business. We have a know-how, and STM has also these systems above the water and underwater. We look at the other countries. There aren't many products, but we have our products, and we are developing this concept of underwater products, maritime systems. Maritime drone systems will also be produced by us. In the beginning, I talked about that, the development of our defense industry is thanks to our state. The state made these planifications, and Roketsan or other companies, integrator companies, brought together smaller firms and SMEs also. We all work together, and now we are at this stage in defense industry. With Mr. Osman also, we are always working together. And what I can say is that we have really confidence in ourselves. In the beginning, we started by the engineering, and now we are looking at things like that. There is nothing we can't do. Maybe we would need more money, but technically, there is no problem that we can't resolve. So we have this confidence. And step by step, we have our products. We are responding to the needs of our armed forces. A lot of products that we were buying abroad, we can produce those right now. And it's much more cheaper also. And we also export to a lot of countries. A lot of companies which are exporting 65-70% of our turnover is coming from our exportations right now. We are developing technologies in order to have complete independence in defense, and also have a better relationships with other countries in order to export. And economically, we want to bring our source to the economy of the country. As STM, we are selling to Turkish Air Forces at the cost price, but we are exporting, and this is where we are earning money. This is our motivation. This is our strategy. In defense industry, we had all this success, but you can look at all our companies that are in the field. We are very proud of those, but we are at the beginning of our journey. We have new prototypes which are produced serially, little by little. We have a long way to go in order to respond to our needs inside the country. Also, in order to we really have a good quality. We have the best prices, the best quality. This is why other countries are buying from us. And we are also doing the follow-up, so the other countries are really trusting us. I think that we are now above a certain level. With these exportations, with our references, we have bigger and bigger potential. I think that, on the other hand, our geography, our region is really in a very complicated situation. There are wars and insurgencies, but technologies are always developing. War games are always developing. Concepts are changing each and every week almost. So technically, we should never stop. We should develop. We should always progress, and we have to have all these resources for R&D. I think that I don't have much time, so I can say that this ecosystem is really very good. All these companies, when you look at those companies, maybe those are little pieces that they are producing, etc. But if our defense industry is at some level now, especially in exportation, the contribution of all those small countries is very important. STM is an engineering company, and also we are the biggest marine company, military marine company of our country, but we have very small installations for the production. So we really count on those little companies who are producing these pieces for us. And also we can
sektörlerin bir arada olduğu olması son And that's the reason why the actors are very much important for us as we integrate the companies, especially about export with all the projects that we are going to bringing up. We definitely are going to support them. But more than that, of course, after having the total independence of our country in the military area, of course, in the literature, I believe that we are going to be much more superior than before. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you. Mr. Osman, the floor is yours. First and foremost, I'd like to thank the managing board of SAHA for giving us this opportunity. Secondly, and Mr. Ergin Pasha is actually a legend as a commander, and it's a great honor to have him here and be with him. So the Turkish armed forces is very much important for this sector to be developed. When you don't see this, it can be actually valid for any armed forces or country. The sector can even become more vague in that manner. So that is the reason why, in order to evaluate, in order to orient the sector, especially, we definitely need to determine the needs, and later on we need to be acting positively towards the sector. And Mr. Ergin, as our commander, and has undertaken all of these roles in the utmost proper best way, and that's the reason why I would like to pay my appreciation. I would like to talk about the world and the world's defense industry. But then again, now we have a vice president from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and valuable representatives of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and that's the reason why I am a little bit worried, because they know even better than I do. So right now, the world is at a very important turning point, as we can obviously see, especially in the beginning of the year 2000. The globalization was very exciting as a motive, but later on it became more vague, and people became more regional, and people become more actually converted into themselves. And a great change happened in the. A great change has also happened in China, becoming the greatest economy one of the greatest economy in the world, especially with its high scaled productions. Has become a great player in the area. A lot of developments happened there. And on the other hand, when you take a look to Europe, in particular after the fall of the Berlin Wall and the peace development period of time, the expenses of defenses were accumulated, and with these resources, education and health or energy was an area that they have made their greatest actually in infrastructure for that. But they didn't take a lot of importance to defense. And when Russia became also involved in it, that was actually a wake-up call for Europe. And then they realized there was a great gap in the defense area in Europe. And I also am working as an executive board member of the European Defense Agency. That's the reason why I can talk about these in such an easy way. And of course, AI has been talked about previously. AI is a great game changer. And from now on, in the defense industry, and all of the industries in the world that we can call, has a greatest amount of a core issue dealing with AI. On the other hand, the world economy, especially post-COVID, there has been a great amount of a load of debt in all of the countries. And it happened to become to such a level that even the interest couldn't be paid, so the amount is great. And as far as I can actually understand and read, and of course our representatives of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs is also here. Maybe it's not my role to talk about it, but I can say that it's not really good. It's not going good. So all of these topsy-turvy situations are becoming quite a big challenge because there is a great load of burden of debt. And on the other hand, the climate change. And having the North Sea to open up to any kind of a move and has created a totally different scenario here, especially the United States having an actually a dominance over Greenland and also the rare mines or reserves is really trying to satiate the people. And especially in the rare earth elements, especially China is very much prominent in that area. And China is taking this, is trying to actually take this as an advantage. And on the other hand, energy is also a different aspect that we have to be talking about the e-vehicles. The e-vehicles is rising in numbers, and on the other hand, as for AI, the micro operators are using a lot of, consuming a lot of electricity, and there is a great deficit of electrical generation. And let me give you data about this. In the United States, there are only 2 companies when they came together, Google and Meta. And in the next coming decade, in order to overcome the electrical needs of the world, they are building right now a 30 gigawatts of production capacity. So it is actually, there are in Turkey, the total amount of gigawatts are only 120. So both of these companies are creating a 30 gigawatt of an energy. So that is actually showing us how important energy is going to be. And space is also another situation. And there's a great amount of competition in space. And China and the United States of America is taking hold of it, mining in the space, and on the other hand, creating a data over there. There are different types of actually situations going on there. It's not only about satellites, because we're talking about a totally different space mindset right now in those space projects. So as a result of this, what I try to say is, unfortunately, some big or some small, there are some certain regional conflicts that are going on. And it is like as if we are in a third world war in a very low temperature. So that brings all of the countries to be in the competition of armament. And today in the in the European Union, 3 years ago, we were talking about green sustainability. These fields are right now postponed, and right now the top agenda is defense industry, and some of the funds for sustainability is converted into defense industry. So we are holding up onto such a world right now. And if we take a look from the point of view of Turkey in the second part of the 80s, I see that the Turkish defense industry has made its first entry. And the defense undersecretary was founded, and they have a great role, of course. And if I have to repeat, this defense industry is an ecosystem, both the public sector and also the private sector, the companies and the public institutions. So on both of the sides of the tables, with a commonality, if this doesn't work together in the commonality, then this sector doesn't work properly. And I had the opportunity to witness the 90s, the 2000s, and post 2010s. So there are three different decades, And in the first period of time of the Turkish defense industry, and generally, there were projects about participative production. That was actually the way we were dealing with in this industry. That was a right step at that period of time. The reason why I say this is because before producing something, you need to design. You don't design. First, you need to actually create an infrastructure for production so that you can produce or test the production of your ideas or your creations. So you need to actually come up to a certain judgment. You are designing something, of course, but can that design be produced? That we need to reach to that notion, and that only can be done with making various of different productions. In the 80s and the 90s, we're dealing with infrastructure and partnership productions. Later on, design and development have also started for a little bit, but it was a very small part of the whole sector. In the years of 2000s and until the mid-2000s, the political will has brought up the idea, so in order to design our national defense industries. So that was a very critical turning point for the sector. Together with that, the industry have started to work on it, and in a very broader manner. And after the second half of the 2000s, we started to see its fruits. In such an economy as in Turkey, we have actually created a great amount of portfolio in such an economical scale as it is in Turkey. Starting up with a tank or with ships and with drones and with weapon systems, armament systems. We all know them. There are more than 1,000 of projects that are going on under the Ministry of Defense. So it is starting up thousands of projects one at once is really courageous to be made with an economic scale such as Turkey. I believe we have to feel proud of this because we could really achieve it. So far, we were very successful. That is very critical, and hence, in the defense industry, we are giving a second, independence war right now. We are making a second independence war for the independence of the country. They are really very important value-added strategies. Of course, it's not very much easy to be independent in the foreign policy. We all have experienced it. And when you are strong in the defense industry, then you become an impactful country. So that is to say, the sector brings you to the forefront within the foreign policies. And what we do right now as Kale Group, in the end of the 80s, we have initiated the project of the Stingers in Europe. The Stinger missile, we have made the spare parts of the Stinger missiles, which was a very eye-opening experience for us in the end of the 80s, as I told you before, because with this project, the part that you are producing, I'm not talking about the part to be produced. You can do it, you can achieve it, but in that project professionally, we have started to establish the systems that found aviation, planning, configuration management. There was an aqua quality standard that we were implementing at that period of time. So there has been a great amount of a methodology that we have achieved with that project. And this was the beginning of everything. Then as a Kale Group, in the defense industry, we had two different facilities that we have made. The first one was the working in the international projects. We were contractors, and we continue to work as contractors in big international projects. And for instance, the F-35 engine projects, we have created great amounts of spare parts for the engine. And we continue doing this. And with this channel, actually there are a few positive sides of this. And a foreseeable and a regular amount of budget can be achieved, because these are the projects that continue for 20 or 30 years long. As soon as you have a row there, even though your workload can actually change, you can actually continue doing it. And with these projects, as I told you in the beginning, the methodology, the way of doing business or managing the business, the technical information, the material information, the knowledge about all of these becomes very much important for you. These are actually your know-how that you have gained, and that know-how, of course, in the future is going to be implemented in your own unique and national projects. So that channel continues so far, and it still continues. But on the other side, then we need to build up. We also worked in national projects as well. In 1988, we are 6 co-founders of Kale. With Roketsan, we have built up the missiles for Roketsan, and we have an actual long-range missiles. We have made long-range missiles, and also the controlled, guided missiles. And together with Baykar, we continued working together, and and Baykar, as you know, has become a very prominent company. And we have also the national weapons for the infantry. And besides, the first national and unique design jet engines, the turbo engines designs have been built up, and later on we initiated the production of it. And our skills are based on mechanics. And we have become experts in that field in particular. Mr. Ibrahim used to say, everybody should do the work that they do best, because the Turkish people have positive and negative aspects. The Turkish people can very easily see an opportunity, and later on they can actually focus on it. But of course, if we are talking about an industry such as the defense sector, you definitely build up your infrastructure, and over that infrastructure you need to go further. This is not actually a right way of behavior. Being an expert in an area is very much important, and that's the reason why we became experts in the mechanical areas. And we have built up all the really difficult projects, and turbojet engines was one of this. Together with Tubitak Sagem and us, have the navigational missiles, Çakır, Atmaca, and Kara Atmaca, and the last missiles are involved, and then they have also variations. And all the turbojet engines developments and their serial production has been made by our company, and which is not a very easy voyage for us, I can say, because it took a decade for us to build up the first turbojet engine. But then again, we had a target. So in the end of the days, these engines, these engines are going to be the engines of the of a war project. Of when do you need it? When things go bad, of course. When things get worse, what does it mean? The times when the embargo is implemented in a very serious way. So we need to have engines that doesn't abide by all these embargoes. While we are developing these engine projects, actually our contract allows it. We didn't make any kind of a licensing registry. We never made it. That means that all of the critical subsystems, the critical technologies, all of them had to be done by ourselves. The reason why is, unfortunately, at that period of time, in particular in the beginning of 2010s, in this sector, the jet engines, we didn't have any company that can build up the sub parts, the spare parts, like the instigator or the alternator or the valve or the resin. We have the rumens. We have developed them all by ourselves. We have analyzed it, we tested them, and we have developed them. And that's the reason why molding is very much important. And we have worked together with another company called Sarpa. And with all of these national possibilities, the core engine group is become intact, and we have passed the tests, the resiliency tests, and which is very much important, of course. And then we have there are plenty of different command control systems itself and other things. Actually, you can buy them from abroad, but then again, I'd like to reiterate that you need to have a permission for exports. That means also that they have actually a limitation. That means that there's a limitation in the exports of these products. So that we never wanted this. We wanted to have a limitless achievement in that. The tests were made during the flight of the missiles, and we initiated the exports. The first jet engines contract has been made with Brazil last year. And it is also said here that Brazil has developed its own navigational missile. It's called MESAP-ER, and we have been chosen as their engine. And right now, the development is continuing in this, and the missile is going to be produced in a serial way. So in the beginning, we developed the platforms and which missile you continue. You do not generally change the engines. You continue with the same engine. This is how it goes in our industry. So in the Turkish defense industry, we are talking about export constantly, because the most important place in the industry is exports. And you have, of course, your internal needs. It is helping you at all costs, but our target as a defense industry must be export, just after you meet your own internal domestic needs. That's why we, as the Turkish defense industry, has reached up to a very successful point. We can be criticizing ourselves very harshly as the Turkish people, but let's not do it. I really would like to underline this because there are plenty of people who are paid their efforts in this industry. There are plenty of technicians, operators, and engineers who are working here. Please do not underestimate it. It's not a very easy industry, so you go with baby steps and then you can run. And take a look to all of the utmost developed countries, and who have take a look to the companies that have done it for so many times. Take a look at all the challenges that they have faced, and then take a look to the Turkish defense industry and make your criticism, because it's a very difficult sector. If it would be easy, everybody would do it. In the world, in some certain technologies especially, the number of countries that can reach to up such a level is not very much. It's not more than 5 fingers in a hand, I can say. So that's the reason why we should support it. And once again, I have to reiterate that, which I believe is very much important. The institutions that are orienting the industry can be all of the public and private sectors, the Gendarmerie, the Ministry of Defense, the Ministry of Trade, and the Ministry of Industry, and all of these institutions have critical roles to play. If they play a good and successful role, then the industry goes up like a rocket. But if they have problems in achieving it, then the sector is also harmed by that. That's why, as Turkey, I believe we are very lucky, because the public sector is paying very much importance to it and has a great support. So they are a partner, they're acting as a partner, a supporter, and that's the reason why I always believe that the institutions, the public institutions, need a great applause about this. And we see the result of this. The Turkish defense industry, taking a look to the export side, I believe we are going to be the first 10, we are going to be involved in the first 10 exporting countries. We were in the 11th, but I suppose it seems likely to be that we are going to be involved in the top 10. So that is a great achievement, I believe, because each year we are ranking up 1 and 1 every year. So I believe that we should feel pride in what we have done. Especially the defense industry has very difficult projects, like we have a plane, like the Khan plane. There are very difficult areas like the engines, and on the other hand, the drones. We have very sophisticated drones. Together with AI, things become really, the shape is changing, I can say. And the side of the public. And as for the public opinion, we definitely have such an attitude that can actually support the sector, to the industry. We need actually a motivation from you. The sector needs it, actually. It's a very difficult sector. And please just take a look to a centennial countries' projects. I know the F-35 project very well. I know how it started in the beginning, but what makes F-35 today is that they are become the best. The companies that cannot do it have a chance, saying that the people of this country, when there can be actually some certain barriers that come upon the industry, the actual public opinion was always standing behind. So these are the countries that can achieve everything in that manner. So whenever you are seeing any kind of a challenge, you do not surrender. So, of course, criticism is really good. You need to criticize, but disruptive criticism is something else. Destructive, actually. And I'm right now 60 years of age, and that's the reason why I believe I talk too much. But what I have learned so far as a lesson is that we need to be patient, and we need to actually stand behind a project. So there's no free lunch, of course. Nothing is easy. Everything is very challenging, and so things are technically not that easy. But if you stand behind it, then I believe that there's no wall you cannot break. Thank you. Mr. Bilay, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Commander. I will be very brief after Mr. Özgür and Mr. Osman. It is really good to be on the field. I'm very happy to be a part of this panel. As a foundation, we organized this another expo. So these are two brother expos, and it's a pleasure to be here. Our subject is the public-private partnership, and these two expos are joining each other. I hope that we will all participate to those with all the other attendees. Private-public partnership. Well, I would like to talk about this a little. Our commander used to say that before. These old days of Turkish armed forces, you were talking about these and we were listening to you. Our foundation started with the peace mobilization of Cyprus. And in the years 1970s, we had some embargoes concerning the products we could buy, and we didn't have enough weapons, and our nation gathered together, and they really gave some money in order to create the foundation, in order to buy weapons for our armed forces. Roketsan, Havelsan, İşBir, all our companies, 6 companies, were then founded thanks to those donations from people. It is as it was the case during the Independence War in the beginning of the 20th century. In Cyprus mobilization also, it was the case. And now we have, at that time we had these campaigns, build your own plane, warplane, build your own war vessel. And now we really developed. We have all our products that are made by our people, by our youth, and we are exporting even. So this is a source of pride for us. Other panelists talk about that. There are very diverse products. In these companies, we have thousands of products now, and they are combat proven. It's not only in the expos that you can see these products. These products of defense industry of Turkey are really have really showed their proof in the field, in the war zones. So you both talked about exports. And we will be in the top 10 of the countries in export. Our companies contributed a lot to those. And we have the presidency of defense industry, which is leading these activities. And we also have a committee presided by the our president of our republic. And there are tenders that are launched, but there's something critical. There are a lot of rules that were added to those contracts. If Roketsan or Aselsan has a tender, they have to distribute all those activities, all those productions to diverse companies. And we want to go. We want to have a pyramid, and we want to have small subcontractors, and we want to have a good project management system. And this is what we designed, and this is what we are working with. As the companies of the foundation, we are working in line with the presidency, and also a lot of subcontractors are SMEs, local SMEs, and there are hundreds, sometimes thousands of companies who contribute to one and only product. When we think about the companies of the foundation, this is the case where we have a very good public-private relationship. And the more we have a production, a mass production, the more we have knowledge, and the more we have in the zone where there was, in the region where there was the earthquake, for example, we founded some companies which are producing some parts, and the foundation is announcing its figures each month. Each month we are founding 1, 2, 3 companies abroad, from Chile to Far East, to European countries, to African countries. We are funding companies. Why? Because we want to participate to the tenders in these countries. If Romania has a tender, we will create a company in Romania. We will fund the company, and we will have these structures in the country where there is a tender. And now we are really present in a lot of the countries of the world. Before we were seeing multinational companies which were from the Western countries especially, but now we are among them. We have our companies which are participating to tenders. And also expos are, of course, really important in order for these companies' visibility. We go to these expos, and we really have large crowds that are coming to visit, and we hope that in the years to come, these volumes will increase. And not only Turkish armed forces, but other armed forces of the world will use our products. I would like to talk to you about our foundation, which is the owner of Roketsan, Aselsan. The profits, the donations, all the income from the locations, etc., we are transferring this to the Defense Industry Support Fund. So the money that is coming from the defense industry is going back to the defense industry. We have modernization projects and other support projects. And some part is also used for the capital needs of our companies. And it's not only about military use, we also have civilian uses of our products. During the pandemic, for example, Arçelik and Aselsan produced a respiratory device during the pandemic. So very quickly, we can say that from transportation to health in civil domains also. We are producing a lot of the products, for example, high-speed trains. We are also producing parts for high-speed trains. Aselsan is working in programming, in simulators, not only for the military, but also for civilian activities. Aselsan is now one of the biggest companies in the world, in our stock market in Turkey. So we are really proud of Aselsan. Other companies are following Aselsan. And we are increasing our place in the 100 companies in the world. I would like to finish, Commander. We love this story. We would like to tell this story again and again. These companies, which became that big, are really a source of pride for us. So we want to render them more and more visible for the youth, especially because nothing happened on its own. The other supports are really important. The will of the President of the Republic is very important, the will of our President. So he started the local production in Turkey. We didn't even have a pistol, but now we have underwater military marine systems, surface military marine systems. We are exporting. We are also capable of producing all the systems on a vessel. Last week we were in Cyprus. We met students in Cyprus. Our story started in Cyprus, so it was really a pleasure to talk about the story in Cyprus. We also have partnership programs with universities. Now we have a mean age of 32, 33 for our engineers. So the youth should know about that, where we come from, so that they know about that. We hope we will not need all those weapons as we needed them during Cyprus mobilization again. I hope not, but we will keep on developing in social media also. We are really sharing this story. We would like to have your support in order to share this story and the history of our foundation. We also have a shop of our foundation where you can find the t-shirts, mugs, and other products. So this is also important for the visibility. I invite you to our shop also. Thank you very much, Commander. Thank you. Thank you. So they really, all our three panelists gave really very valuable information. I would like to touch on a few points before closing. You talked about 1,000 projects. How did you count those? Not in order to debate about that, but how do we know what we need? Do we have a systematic structure for that? There is a demand from the needs. Okay, maybe you can talk to me about that later. So a lot of things changed. You say that there is a lot of chaos everywhere. Yes, it is the case. In defense also there is chaos. Marine military forces are not only making war on the sea, they are bombarding the earth. And it is the case everywhere. In Iran war also, you talked about these UAVs. In Ukraine, for example, they don't have a marine. But they could destroy 30% of Russian marines with UAVs in the Black Sea, included the admiral vessel. So the flagship of the Russian Marine. So 120,000 UAVs are used per month. 5 to 7 million is the capacity of production of Ukraine for UAV. How can you take measures against that? You will not throw a Patriot against UAVs, of course, against drones. European Union, for example, is creating a kind of an electronic curtain against the drones, Russian drones and Russian UAVs. Apart from Ukraine, we don't hear about land operations. Everybody is launching some rockets to each other. So UAVs and drones are accompanying fighter jets. And the pilot says, go strike here, go strike there. This is how things work. USA and some other armies have a system. For example, there is a center. The center gathers all the information and intelligence, and there is a robot.
Hedefe deniz kuvvetleri gitsin. Bu hedefe o.
So it says that there are different types of military areas which have targeting somewhere else. So the commander is responsible for everything. If the robot does something and the commander cannot actually respond to it because the robot has done it on its own. Of course, unmanned vehicles, the drones are very cheap. For $500 minimum and for $5,000 maximum, you can actually produce a drone, and that's the reason why they go like an actual flock. Does it work at all times? For instance, in the United States, had brought up a big fleet of ships. In Yemen, there are Houthis who are sending missiles. The Prosperity Guardian, they initiated a maritime movement. They're still actually shooting the ships. It's not very easy. They have sent a drone and it doesn't actually work like that. The whole trade is going to the Suez and to the southern region. What didn't it happen like in the Hormuz as well? Is this the whole situation right now? No. We have cyber attacks as well all around the world. Not only in the military or at war. There's a cyber attack everywhere. Norfolk, the United States, there is a Langley base, and the ship planes are half of them were there. So for years, they are not doing anything. They are just moving there. They're just flying there. They're just trying to. They're just trying to intimidate them. They'll try to threat them, but they couldn't find any kind of a solution for that. I told you that's not only about war. For instance, in the United States, the East Coast fuel. The East Coast has an actually pipeline which is actually providing 25% of the fuel of it. So now they are sending all of the fuels all around. So in order to keep the system, they had to actually close the pipeline. For instance, in the Middle East, on August 2024 were attacked, had a cyber attack again, and their navigation systems totally damaged. Which brings up the case. On 19th of May in 2004, Iran, the president's helicopter crashed on the mountain, so they all died just because of just because of the weather conditions. Can that happen really? No, but if they have oriented the navigation controls in the wrong way, then they might have actually really crashed on the mountain. Maybe that's the case. We do not know it. In Lebanon, remember, there were actually certain mobile phones which were used as bombs. So if the wars are changing, the way we are preparing ourselves to the war has to change as well. Of course, we're going to do the infantry weapons, but we do have to do other things as well. You were talking about war in space. They are sending a missile that goes to the navigation satellite, and it's out of, then it becomes out of the orbit. So what are we going to do about this? So we have been talking about this, let's do this and let's do that. Okay, but the most important thing is to train the people who can do that. Education has to be done accordingly to the possibilities of such occasions. You have a long way to go. There's nothing I can do left. I am right now retired, but your work is really difficult. Thank you very much for being here. And thank you very much for listening.
Değerli
We would like to present a commemoration of a token for today, and I would like to invite Mr. Uçar, and then we will be having a photo shoot.
Hocam, Sayın Komutanım, şöyle küçük bir anımız var. Her sene bizi yalnız bırakmıyorsunuz, geliyorsunuz, çok sağ olun. Resim çekimli, evet. Şeref verdiniz, sağ olun, her zaman. Benim var. Benim var. Çok teşekkür ederiz. Şafak, koptada gideceğim yanında bekliyorum. Merhaba. Bir tane beraber. Bir tane beraber. Bunu mesela mesaj çektirirken koyacak diye